Right.
All right. Welcome into episode 13 of the Avetts and Beyond. My name is Todd Emanuele, and I have very special guests this week. Paleface and Mo are here, folks. It's pretty awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming in.
Hey, thanks for having us.
We're doing great here. So you guys have been busy promoting the new album that's coming out, right?
That's right. Yeah, as best we can.
I've seen all the posts on social media and Beyond the Bells. By the time this is airing, now I should say
I'm confused.
we're recording this on February 8th, but it's going to air on the 24th. So when this actually goes out, people are already going to be able to have your album for a week. So so we're going to kind of be talking around. It's not going to make sense, some of it, because we're talking after it's already released. I'm confusing myself now with this, but yeah. So the album.
We're with you.
Okay, you don't have to. It's okay. You don't have to be nice. So the album's coming out. I'm excited for it. I know you guys are excited for it.
Hey.
I've been deep diving your music since you said you'd come on my show, and I gotta say I'm super excited because I love your music. I knew of some of your stuff. I never really heard a lot of it, but I started listening. I'm like, man, I fell in love with it. Like, you guys are awesome. The vibe of your music is so cool that more people need to hear it and experience Paleface. So this is cool, and I can't wait. You sent me some of the songs I got to listen to. We're gonna play them on the show after. Very cool stuff. So tell me about the album.
Well, I started it because all of a sudden we were out of a job because of COVID, and I was kind of sitting around the house and I didn't know what to do. And I thought, well, let's just start another one. We had just released one and started the tour, and then everything was cut off.
Yeah, that album came out right at the beginning of 2020, right?
That's right. So we were just back from our first bit of shows promoting it. So, it was like, okay, everything we've planned is gone. So I guess I'll just start making another one. Because,
right.
What am I going to do?
Right.
That's already out.
What was that like for you? I know, so many people have different stories about when COVID, first happened. And, I was working in a place where we were sent home to work, and we did for over a year. But when you're a musician, you need to be out in front of people performing and stuff, and you just couldn't. So you turned to social media. I know that. I've seen your lives and all that, but that's just not the same, is it?
No, it's not even close. Everything is, when you're on the road, you're meeting people all the time. And,
right.
There's just an energy to it that you don't get sitting around the house.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah.
But it was just, that was one of, it was like time to just make another record for me, because I had only made one record.
Mm-hmm.
So really I felt like a new artist anyways. There was a lot of things for me to learn. I don't know, anybody who heard the first record, Go Forth,
love it,
is going to hear this one and go, whoa, that's, a step up, just because I didn't know anything when I started. I was still had a long way to go. So I just kind of dived into it.
So you did everything yourself then with the last album and this album, right?
All of it. Like everything, I had to learn how to be a sound engineer and just everything, because before, it's sort of like a new thing that's popping up as well. The musician is now making the music.
Right.
In other words, like before, I would write songs and we would go to a studio and they would record us.
Right.
That's the model. Now I'm not recording a band, I'm making something.
Yeah.
So like I'm playing
everything.
It's a totally different thing that's going on now. And there's, people that have done it and become very successful with it. So I don't know, it's just like I feel more like I'm an artist now, like a more complete artist.
Well, it's got to be a different feeling. Like than someone else recording you. I mean, you have a hand in every single piece of it, so it must mean more to you too than just going to a studio and playing your songs and having someone take care of all of that for you, right?
Well, yeah, you're sweating. It's all you, so it's a lot more work, and I think it's worth it though. So.
And you have some musician friends that I'm sure can help you out if you had any issues or questions or anything like that, right?
I don't remember doing much of that. I
just figure it out.
The mastering, John, who did the mastering, helped me on the first one because I was really lost. So I learned some of those lessons, and it's just a progression. But I'm playing everything, so I'm not. I've been in that position in New York City where I had a band, and then you're relying on everybody to show up and like learn the songs and do and play what you want them to play, and
it's all on you.
And that was another that you had to let them do. When you're in a band like that, you should let them express themselves.
Sure.
So they came up with stuff that I couldn't, and that was cool too. So you lose that because now it's all your mind. Everything's coming out of your mind.
I think it's exciting. So tell me about the album. Tell me about it. The songs. How did you come up with the lyrics? What are they about? Can you tell me all that?
So you're gonna play.
There's 3 songs I'm gonna play.
Stick the Landing. Stick the Landing is our first track. I think we gave you that one.
Yep.
That's kind of just like that's like one of those songs where you're trying to hype yourself up. And I was listening to some old sports music. This guy Sam Spence, who wrote music for football films in the 70s, and it's just fantastic music. It's like, wow. So it's just this rousing music, and so I was just kind of in that space, and that's what that song is about. Stick the landing, stick the landing. You can do this, you can do this. And I kind of threw in, there's a little North Carolina reference because we watched this basketball film, and the coach was this guy, Jimmy Valvano, big North Carolina coach, won the national championship. They were the big underdogs.
Yep.
And there was this speech that his father gave about, my bags are packed. I got a suitcase packed for you, son, when you make the finals. And like every year he would call and say, did you make it? No, we didn't make it. Next year, my bag is packed. It's up there. I got it packed. So I threw that in. That's a little bit of, it comes out of nowhere, but if you've ever heard that speech, it's very inspirational.
I have, yeah.
So, and everybody needs that if you're trying to do something,
Sure.
Listen, you got this. I'm with you. My bag is packed. I'm ready to go.
It's kind of like the whole post-COVID vibe too. Like people are, getting out and about now and doing things again. So you can do it. It's kind of, that's what I get from that.
You can do this.
All right, so that's one of the songs. Tell me about some others if you want. I love hearing the background of this stuff.
Well, most of my worries never happen. That's just a song that I came up with because I'm, just like stupidly worrying about things, that maybe you have to do in the future, or things that are coming up, or anything, like I think the one that kicked it off was I had to get my car inspected.
Yeah.
And I was like, this piece of crap, it's never going to go through. What am I going to do? Like all these like stupid worries that I had about it. And I like had to glue the mirror on the side. And I was like, they'll never, like I had so I just wrote this song. Most of my worries never happen. And I think I got the phrase from Mark Twain.
Oh,
so it's an old one. I think it's Mark Twain, but maybe.
I won't hold you to that one.
Somebody from that era.
Okay.
Saw a quote about like most of the things I worry about never even ever happened, or something like that.
That's so true, though. That's so true. I mean, everyone I think goes through that.
Okay, like that makes me feel better that I'm not the only one.
No, you're definitely not.
all worry sometimes a little more than.
And just sometimes it's just the most ridiculous thing, you know.
Sure.
It's just, you know.
And you drive yourself crazy, and then it turns out to be absolutely nothing, like the mirror on your car. So the album, how many songs are on the album?
10 songs.
Okay.
It's a 10-songer. That just seems, for doing everything, that's a good length. That's a full length, you know.
Yeah.
And you'll notice it's some of the best records ever. Most successful records, they'll have 10, maybe 11, but 10 songs is like, when you get to that mark, you know, you're good.
Oh, I can't wait to hear the whole thing. Maybe after, you know, a little while down the road, you can come back on and tell us about all the other songs on there. I love hearing the background of, you know, people they get in their head, they hear the music, you know, they have their own meanings for each song, you know, they put it to their life. But I always love to hear what the artist has to say and to know what it's really about rather than put myself into it. So it's fun to hear that.
But, you know, it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't. No, that's just how
because you're gonna, you know, I mean, the history of music is full of misinterpreted lyrics.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
You know, like, I thought it was that. You know, I've been singing it this way for 10 years. You know, like, so.
And it ruins the song kind of when you find out what they're really saying. Like, what?
Could be.
All right, so Mo, when did you start? When did you guys start playing together?
You want to feel this one, Mo?
Well, let's see. I moved to New York City after college and started going to shows, and that's when I started. Eventually, bought a drum set, started playing around, and eventually started playing with Paleface.
I had a side project that I was doing called Just About to Burn, and I ran into Mo on the street, and I was playing with this other guy, and we were just kind of fooling around doing these kind of simple folky songs.
Yeah.
And we had tried a few people. He had brought some guy with a parade drum, and that didn't work. And then the guitar player had seen us do it as a duo, and he couldn't play drums. So we were nowhere. And we ran into Mo, and
then I joined the band. And
were you a drummer at the time?
I started to play drums at that time, so I was just, you know, learning little by little, and I've kept learning little by little since then. Just kind of dove in. After 3 months playing in New York City, after 3 months practicing, I started playing gigs with my first band, and eventually,
I saw the second show.
Yeah, you were there.
Really? That's
Continental Divide. It was a rock club in the East Village.
Yeah. So then eventually we met the Avetts brothers, and they started inviting us to go open for them in the South. And eventually we decided to move to the South so we could afford a tour and just do this on a full-time basis. And I quit my job in New York, gave up the apartment, and this is where we are now.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. You guys ended up in. Go on.
Well, just to elaborate on what she's saying, the first time I met those guys was a show that we did together that Nicole Atkins booked.
Sure. Okay.
Nicole knew Seth, I guess. She was in North Carolina doing something, and she loved the Avetts brothers. This was right when it was just the three of them. Bob was playing, and you know, Joe was years away still, and said, "You should do this show together. You'll like this." So we played at this place, Radio Perfecto. It was like a little coffee joint where you had folk shows all the time. And Langhorne was there.
Oh, wow.
And Regina Spektor was there.
Oh, my God.
And Nicole Atkins, James Levy, and like maybe 3 or 4, like the sound guy who was this guy, Danny. You want to help me out?
Danny Kelly.
Danny Kelly. Yes, Danny Kelly. Folk guy on the scene, and that was it. There was like 9 people there.
Wow.
And so that's when I met them for the first time, and then so we did the show, and then they went on with their tour, and I was like, oh, those guys were good, you know, like they were like together, and you know, and then I didn't think too much of it, and then I got contacted about going down to play with them in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And Langhorne was my roommate at the time. In the meantime, Langhorne had become my roommate. And I said, hey, you know, remember those guys we played with? And like, they want me to go to North Carolina. And he goes, you should do it. I've already been there. He said, it was awesome. So I was like, okay. And that was the first time that we came to North Carolina.
Yeah, to play with them.
Yeah.
So you guys ended up in North Carolina, but of all places, you're in Concord, right? Right where they're from?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Now,
Yeah. We didn't know anything. We didn't know where to go. We wanted to hit the road. You can't do that in Brooklyn.
yeah, right.
I mean, we had our own, we both were paying rent on our own apartments. So it was like,
Langhorne moved to your apartment. You guys were sharing, and I had my own apartment, and it was just a lot. So we just decided to move to the south, and Scotty Avetts hooked us up with the landlord. He's like, I know the guy that's gonna hook you up with an affordable rental. We're like, yes.
The guy who rented the Four Thieves house. Actually, that's how he sold it to me. He said, yeah, it's the guy who rented the Four Thieves house to us has a bunch of property. So he put us in contact, and that's how we ended up here. And then we realized that North Carolina is a hub for travel.
Yeah.
So it turned out great.
Yeah.
We didn't know that. We just fell into that. But
so how long have you been down there now?
Over 10 years now.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Four Thieves. And I wanted to mention this. Yesterday was the 17th anniversary of the release of Four Thieves Gone. Did you realize that?
I did not know that.
We were in New York, and they were,
I did not know that.
17 years yesterday. So tell me about that experience. I know you had a big part in that. Like, they had you write five songs for that album?
I'm the fourth thief, I guess.
You are, right?
Yeah, I'm the fourth thief. I'm the pen.
I was going to ask that because I've never heard that confirmed. That
well, if
you're
you
the
look
pen.
at the pen, there's a PF on there, so it's
okay.
If you actually look at it, it's like there's the proof.
So
it's actually there.
So Scott is the rabbit, right?
Is Seth
He must be. Seth is
Scott's the rabbit.
That's got to be the rabbit, right?
I remember now. I've forgotten who everybody is.
I have this written down here. I want to see if I can find it. Oh, Scott's the rabbit. The anchor would be Dane, right?
Yeah.
That would make sense.
What were the other ones? Seth is the
butterfly.
Oh yeah, that is on there. Yep. And Bob would be the compass, right?
Okay.
That's just my guess. I don't know. I've never seen any confirmation on any of that, but so there's a PF on the pen. I got to go look at my album cover now. But tell me about that experience, that whole thing. I mean, it was a long time ago now, though, but that had to be great.
Oh, it was fun. I mean, those guys were really cool, and it was clear that they were just writing these great songs, and we were just playing them in the room. I mean, we just it was a kind of a country house on a little lake in Robbinsville there, and we just moved in.
Yeah.
And they drove the piano up the hill in Nashville there and rolled it into the house. And can you move that thing, Mo?
Yeah, well.
And we just played all those songs. What was cool about it was there were so many of them. There were so many good songs, you know. I mean, I ended up playing guitar on a bunch of them and playing harmonica, and songs were happening. We had this song that I had, which was called Foggy Notion, and it was a kind of stomper. It was like, jump, jump, jump. And Seth was playing on the piano, and I remember we rehearsed it for about a half hour right before dinner, and then we ate dinner, and for some reason we never got back to the song, which I'm sad about because I thought it was cool, right? But the main thing was this like, jum, jum, jum. So then the next day, Seth comes down with this song, which was Color Show.
Boom, one of my favorites.
Boom, boom. And I'm like, dude, he's like, I said, where'd that song come from? He said, I just wrote it.
Wow.
So I never really asked him, but he kind of had this look on his face like, yeah, well, I stole the rhythm.
Yeah, he stole it from you, right? Oh, man.
Well, I had already been, I had the advantage of being in show business and I know how that works.
Yeah.
So to me, it was great. You know, that's what you do. Like you inspire. If you can inspire something like that, that's cool too. Because I wasn't going to write color show.
Right. So every time you hear that song, do you say like, "That's my song. That's my song"?
No,
No.
it's not like that.
If they asked me to play it, I'd say, "What key is that?" Because I got to play harmonica.
Oh, okay. All right. So the song that you wrote that stuck on the album was "Dancin Daze."
That's right.
I love that song. Can you play that for us? I think we said you're gonna play that maybe.
Yeah, I've got the harmonica here, and
We're gonna do a stripped down version where I'm gonna play a glass and a plate because we're hanging out in the kitchen right now.
You're in the kitchen. Nice.
Kitchen. Welcome.
false start, take two. I've seen the way you do things, the troubles that this life can bring. If it gets to you, I can't tell by the way you sing. You act like it just doesn't mean a thing. I see you dancing on your days. Maybe you can tell me how it is you got that way. Dancing on your days. Come on, that's got to be the way. There's all these things that get me down. This dirty world is full of clowns. They'll build you up just so they can tear you down. Laugh at you when you're on the ground. But not you, I see you dancing all your days. Maybe you can tell me how it is you got that way. Dancing all your days. Come on, that's got to be the way. I really like the way it feels. I look at you. Usually we go. Somebody say 1, 2, 3, 4 really fast.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right.
I see you dancing all your days. Maybe you can tell me how it is you got that way. Dancing all your days. Come on, that's got to be the way. All right, one more time.
Yeah.
That right.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Improvised version.
Thank you so much. I can say that I performed with you guys because I got to do the 1, 2,
Did.
3, 4
Yay.
part.
Yeah, thanks, great.
Without that, we're nothing.
Right?
One,
well,
2, 3, 4. You gotta have 1, 2, 3, 4.
You have to count.
well,
That's,
you're welcome.
That's
I
Stevie
guess.
Ramone, by the way.
Very nice. That's well, I love that song. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that's a Dee Dee Ramone nod, because Dee Dee Ramone in front of every Ramone song would say 1, 2, 3, 4.
Nice.
So I always use that because the guy who discovered me in the music business is this guy Danny Fields.
Mm-hmm.
Who there's a movie about him. It's called Danny Says, and he discovered and managed the Ramones, and they wrote a song about him called Danny Says. I throw that in once in a while, but so that's
cool.
That's like a little nod to the guy who discovered me. So
nice. More behind the curtain stuff. Love that. I just love that song so much. That was a very cool version of it too. I really appreciate you playing that here for me. So if people,
please, we can.
Where are people going to be able to find the album when it comes out? I assume everywhere, but give me all the socials and stuff.
February 17th, the album's out. Since then, everywhere, and Spotify, Apple Music, all the platforms, Amazon. But to find the links, you can either search it or you can go to our website, which is palefaceonline.com. And from there you can find all the links to all those channels and social media and all that. So yeah, palefaceonline.com.
Do you have all the merch and stuff on there too that people can check out? Or?
Yeah, we're working on all that right now. We're getting ready for the release. We have 1 week left, so it's like we're getting all the goodies, t-shirts and all that stuff. We're doing.
As we speak, the vinyl is supposed to be. I mean, by the time this airs, it'll come out. It's supposed to come tomorrow, so we'll see.
Oh, that's exciting! I love vinyl. I need to get myself a copy of it. How many of them were pressed? Do you know?
I think 500.
Yeah,
just 500. So you're gonna have to act quick to get one of those bad boys. If I ordered one, would I be able to get it signed by you guys? Is that something that you do?
We'll
There is if you go to the website and order.
We'll have, yeah. I mean, I'm working on all that. We're self-releasing the album, so it's like I'm working on the label part of it. So I'm working on the store to have the record and maybe provide the option. If you buy this other option, you get it signed.
Cool. Well, you guys really are doing like everything, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's so much that you can't focus on one thing. You know, you can't do like one thing great. The only thing that I can try to focus most of my attention on is the music. Right. And I'll keep going. I've decided now, because of the algorithm, now I'm gonna put out some singles before the album. Before the next album, I'm gonna have singles now, like the old school back in the 60s. Sure. So I'll have 2 or 3 of those before the next album. Plus, I'm working on that. So it's that's the main thing is the music, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
If the music's no good, it doesn't matter how your marketing campaign.
Yeah, and I gotta wear a lot of hats, but we do. I mean, when we're touring, he's doing most of the driving right now and a lot of the loading because I'm not super strong, and then at home, I'm doing a lot of the booking, all that stuff. So it's super DIY. I'm always we're both super thankful whenever we get any help. So thank you, Todd, for having us and helping us spread the word.
If anybody wants us to come and play in your town.
Hey,
I was just going to say, you guys do house shows and stuff like that?
We do house shows, yeah. So I'm just a message and we'll work it out as part of the tour. I'm booking all the shows. So
we love house shows. They're awesome.
Yeah.
I'm up in Rome. I'm up in Rome, New York. You guys, we got to work something out to get you up here. I would love to get you up here for a show. Yeah, I'm supposed to have Jim Avetts coming up in.
Oh, really?
Like early May, sometime around there. He's supposed to come. I'm trying to work the whole thing out with him, but I'd love to have you guys come too at some point and play. Let's make it happen. All right. Well, anything else you want to talk about with the album before we let you go? Or anything at all?
I was going to say the album was produced by Paleface and then it was mixed by Jason Richmond, who's worked with the Avetts brothers.
I actually contacted Scott. I was joking about it, and I said, "Hey, do you know anybody who can mix?" And we were kind of joking back and forth, and he put me on to Jason Richmond, who I guess had done some, I'm not sure what they did, but maybe the Gleam Records or something. Don't quote me on that.
I'm not sure what they
And he
worked on.
turned out to be great. So that was a thank you.
And then you got John Greenham to master it.
And John Greenham did the mastering, and he's more than capable. He won Grammy for Record of the Year a few years back, so he knows what he's doing, and mastered many records. So we did get the professionals to for the mixing and mastering.
Yeah, and we got a support of like a lot of our fans helped us like raise the funds ahead of time, and it's
that was
just
essential.
So super big thanks to everybody that's been backing us since, you know.
Yeah, they wanted to see that album come out, and here it comes. Here it comes on the 17th. Actually, when people are hearing this, it'll already be available, but we're looking forward to that date where it'll be available for everyone.
Yeah, stream it and enjoy it.
Cool.
Paleface, I got to ask you one more thing here. You guys, you and Scott Avett do every once in a while, you'll pop up together on Instagram with these videos that you have singing with his kids and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, we did one. Yeah, we did one.
That one made me laugh. His kids were going crazy.
It's great. It's great. Like two grown men who just cannot control these little kids that are just driving everybody nuts. Yeah, it was fun. We were laughing about it.
I like how part of it's serious, where the kids obviously aren't there, and then it goes back and forth.
Right.
And the kids are trying to distract you very hard and doing a very good job of it.
See, what happened was while we were shooting the original, we were learning the song.
Okay.
So we kind of got tired of it. Then later, we were hanging out with the kids and jamming with them, and they were actually playing instruments. They were playing drums and bass. And Scott was playing something, and I was singing these silly songs. And we kind of loosened up, and so I said, "Hey, we should do the song now." And he was kind of like, he already knew what was going to happen, But
hilarity ensued. That was good.
He was like, this is actually really good. I'm gonna like splice this in. I was like, okay, go ahead, make it hard if that's what you want to do.
How often do you guys get to hang out since you're in Concord together? You must see each other a lot.
Well, I mean, he's got 3 kids and he's got David brothers. So
busy guy.
Show business. You don't see people in show business. It's a weird thing. The only time you like the last time maybe that I saw Langhorne was at a rest stop on the 75 coming down. There's a north of Dayton on the 75 where the 80 and the 75 meet. We both got off at this gas station, and I looked over and saw this guy at the wheel, like sitting there, and I was like, that kind of, what? I know him. Then I looked up there and I saw Malachi coming out. I was like, like weird meetings like that. But
yeah, that's crazy. That's small world stuff right there.
That's
you just
crazy,
don't,
yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Everybody's busy doing their thing. So.
See, in fandom, I'm thinking you guys live in Concord. You must hang out every day together and get to create music all the time together. But you really don't get that opportunity, huh? Busy lifestyles.
That's a good fantasy, I guess. But the reality is everybody's busy with their stuff, and people have kids and families, and everything that you got. Yeah,
and we've been nonstop. I mean, this guy's he wrote the record and recorded and did everything.
I couldn't do that. I've got to do my work. And and Scott's got his work, and so does everybody else. So that's just the way it goes. But it's fun to hang out when I do get to see him. It's great.
That's cool, and fans like seeing it too. So it's good to know. We can look forward to something maybe in the future with you guys. Are you going to do something like record again with them at some point, or is that just who knows?
We'll find out.
I don't know.
Okay,
it'd be great.
It would be. It would. I agree. It would be awesome. All right.
I always have a few songs in there that I'm like,
Whatever happened to what happened to the other songs that you wrote for Four Thieves Gone? They never got recorded. You kind of hinted at that.
Kick This Jam we did again for a different story. We did like our own version of that one. The one that actually the one that we did with the kids, that one has never made it anywhere. That was just an excuse. That was like, oh yeah, you know, why don't we do that one? It's got a good tie-in.
Yeah.
I'll take it. So, and then the Foggy Notion one, it's became color show, and well, not really, but you know,
Yeah, I get it.
The one that
maybe
was on
there
the
was another
vinyl.
one.
What was that other one that was on the
And
little
Dancin
vinyl?
Daze.
But the one that they put in the vinyl, what's that one called? In their little vinyl.
Liar?
Oh, Liar, yeah.
But that wasn't for Four Thieves.
Oh no, okay,
That
my
was
bad.
that was just the song they recorded that I wrote that they liked.
That they
Called
covered.
Liar, and I guess like fans got it.
Oh, it was on the Avetts Guild vinyl that they do every year. Okay.
Yeah, one of
Yeah,
those.
whatever that
Yeah.
was, yeah.
All right.
I thought maybe you had done that in the Four
No,
Thieves.
no.
Okay.
That song was not recorded yet, I don't think.
That's probably the only
I know Scott loved that album, the Free Your Mellow album. It's just a demo, really.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, maybe those songs will see the light of day someday. Is that a hope or?
There's so many.
Right?
I don't think the recordings were very good, you know.
Oh, well.
Like Dancin Daze came out good, but I don't, you know, like there was a lot of songs floating around, and you just pick the ones that sound good.
Yeah.
The other ones are kind of like maybe, you know, but I just remember we were trying them, you know.
Right.
So they were in various states of being done. Maybe they didn't even get completely finished, but I don't know. You know,
That's cool though. It's still a neat experience. It sounded like a really cool experience.
oh, it was fun. Yeah, it was great. I'll always remember that as a highlight.
Absolutely.
You know? Sure.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. Palefaceonline.com is the website, correct?
Right, yeah, check it out, and thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Maybe someday we can have you back on again.
Awesome.
Sure.
All right. Thank you guys. Paleface and Mo. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you guys.
Cheers.
Bye.